it's time now to focus on individual stocks. So let's kickstart with Tata Steel. Sources say 96% of the members in the trade unions have voted in favour of a strike in the long-standing dispute between Tata Steel and the UK trade unions about a proposal to change the company's pension scheme. Kritika Saxena joins in with these exclusive details. Hi Kritika, afternoon. What are you picking up?
Good afternoon, Reema. So I'll have to give you a quick background before I give you the details of the ballot. Now, essentially, remember, Tata Steel had proposed to change the old the British pension scheme, which essentially said that there were a couple of areas that they had issues with, but essentially they changed the retirement age. So instead of you getting a pension at the age of 60, you were entitled to getting the pension at the age of 65. So simply put, that is what the main bone of contention was. Now, essentially, there were 3 unions that were pleading against this. 4 unions have been added to the list, and now there was a large-scale ballot that had taken place. What I understand is that there were around 70,000 members as a part of those 4 unions, and 85% had participated in the ballot. So 96% of that, I understand, have voted in favor of the strike. But it's not the end of the road yet. This doesn't mean that there'll be a strike yet. What I understand is that Tata Steel will be given a notice in the next couple of days. In fact, we should see some kind of an official statement also coming in over the weekend. And they will have about a week roughly to get back. So the final action on if at all there will be a strike or not will be taken on the 15th or 16th of June. So that's what we are picking up so far. What does this mean essentially? To put it in short, essentially, if you look at the numbers, Tata Steel Europe contributes to around 60% of Tata Steel's overall volumes. If you look at the UK business, that contributes to around 60% of the total Europe business. So if at all the strike goes ahead, that means that the entire European operations will be derailed completely. It's a big hit in terms of your operations. But, you know, analysts and pretty much everyone, even if you talk to Tata Steel at multiple occasions, they have spoken to CNBC TV 18 and indicated that they want things to settle down over here. So let's not jump the gun. They have about a week and you could see some kind of resolution coming in. But if not, it will be a huge hit for the company.
All right, Kritika, thanks very much for that. Also, Suzlon is up about 3% in trade after winning a 90-megawatt order from Renew Power. Pragya, what are the details?
Well, some respite for the stock after all that, hue and cry that we were doing on companies with very high debt and very high pledge shares as well of the promoters as a percentage of that. But this is a positive news for the company. Remember, this is a repeat order which Suzlon has won from Renew Power. Renew Power is an independent power producer. It's an order worth about 90 megawatts. So it's a pretty substantial order if you go by the kind of, ticket size of orders that are pretty much awarded for the wind power space. Now, this is a turnkey project where Suzlon will install 43 wind turbine and generators in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, Andhra Pradesh is a very hot spot and it's very strategically located if you want to work on the wind power theme. So, from Andhra Pradesh, this order, so that's also pretty significant, gives better economies of scale. The financials are a lot better for projects that actually emanate from this state. This will take the order book of Suzlon for Q1 of FY16 all the way up to 190 megawatts. So, we're sitting in the month of June. Up until now, the company's been able to, accrue additional orders of about 190 odd megawatt. At the end of March 31st, 2015, we understand the order book of the company stood at roughly about 1123 megawatts. So another additional 190 megawatt on this. This would mean that the company will be able to execute these orders over a span of about 12 months. So quite positive. The total size of this order book would roughly translate into about 6,900 to 7,000 odd crores. So quite a bit positive as far as Suzlon is concerned.
Okay, Pragya, thanks so much for giving us that. Moving on to Prestige, that stock is gaining in an otherwise weak market. Sonia is here to tell us why. Sonia, we understand that the management spoke with various analysts, overnight, and they've come out with their outlook for F516. What are the details?
Oh, it's a very strong guidance that the management has put out, and I think that's the reason why the stock is moving up higher as well. They're targeting a 60 to 100% operational scale-up over the next 3 to 4 years, and they're looking to enter into new markets as well. Remember, Prestige Estates traditionally operates in the Bangalore market, but they're looking to increase their presence in markets like Pune and in Mumbai, but they say that they will, have a limited capital outlay for this. They're also guiding for a mid-teen CAGR in pre-sales. I'll talk about that in greater detail in a bit, but they're also looking at inorganic acquisitions, so they're talking of inorganic growth. So they're talking about acquiring either their partners or their peers' stakes in select assets to drive inorganic expansion. And now just to talk about the guidance a little bit, They're expecting pre-sales of 5,750 to 6,000 crores this fiscal versus about 5,000 crores in FY15. So that's a significant jump up in pre-sales. They're also expecting the pre-sales to hit the 10,000 crore mark in the next 3 to 4 years. So that's the kind of visibility they see for the company. They expect annual customer collections of 3,700 to 4,000 crores this fiscal versus about 3,200 crores last fiscal. And they expect the collections to hit 6,000 crores over the next 3 to 4 years. They're also expecting annual launches of around 12 to 15 million square feet in this fiscal and deliveries of 15 to 20 million square feet in this fiscal, which is higher than what they saw in the last fiscal. And also when it comes to rentals, the rental yields that they get, they're expecting rentals of around 500 crores this fiscal versus 390 crores that they saw last fiscal, and this could go up all the way to 900 crores in the next 3 to 4 years. So they're extremely optimistic about the way forward, and they believe that entry into new markets as well as some inorganic acquisitions will help them drive that expansion.
All right, Sonia, thanks for that. On the flip side, it's Bank of India that slips as Standard & Poor's has cut the standalone credit profile grade by 1 notch to BB plus from BB minus earlier. Ekta, what's the rationale?
Yes, well, they have lowered the credit rating to BB plus from BBB minus. They have, however, affirmed the BBB long-term and A3 short-term issuer credit ratings. Now, in terms of the short-term credit rating, which is what they are concerned with, or the standalone credit profile, they expect the bank's asset quality to remain weak over the next 12 months. But the long-term ratings are affirmed due to the continued expectations of government support going forward. Now, just to put things into perspective, Bank of India was in focus in Q4 because it delivered what was possibly one of the worst set of numbers from the banking space, where it recorded a profit before tax loss. It was only a tax write-back which saved the day, with a gross NPL, hardening over 100 basis points for the quarter.
Thanks, Ekta, for taking us through that. Moving on to Eicher Motors, that too is declining in trade as Volvo, we understand, has exited Eicher. Nimesh?
Well, the technical pressure was expected on the stock given the fact that Volvo has sold its remaining 3.7% stake in Eicher Motors, and the whole block was done at a discount to yesterday's closing price. So that's the reason you're seeing that pressure on the stock. But the other way to look at it is, this was the last tranche from Volvo. They've now sold their entire 8% stake in Eicher Motors. Remember, Volvo had bought the stake way back in 2008, and at that point in time, the price was just around $200. So they've made a huge money on their investments in the last 8 years. So this is purely a value unlocking for Volvo. The sense I'm getting is the Volvo Eicher JV will continue. So on the business front, there will not be any impact on Eicher Motors businesses. But purely from a technical point of view, you're seeing the stock under pressure today. But my sense is, given that this is the last lot, you may not see that supply hangover in Eicher Motors going forward.
All right, Nimesh, thanks for that. Meanwhile, as the regulatory overhang over Maggi continues, more brokerages are now turning cautious and even downright bearish on the stock, and they've cut their target prices in line. Agam joins in to take us through that list. Agam.
Right, so as evident in the stock price and the kind of move that we've seen, more brokerages not only have they turned cautious, but we're also looking at downgrades as well as price targets starting to trickle in. And let's begin with Barclays on Nestle, where while they remain underweight, they've also cut their price target to around 51.49. And this is, of course, on the back of the fact that they see the near-term impact on sales to be on temporary bans, which could impact the quarterly numbers, Q1 particularly. And moreover, this negative sentiment could actually spill over on other products as well. Moving on, we also have a note from Edelweiss on Nestle. Once again, we are looking at a downgrade to reduce, and once again, the price target cut to around 56.41. They are of the opinion that, as per the channel checks, they have seen the Maggi sales nosedive as expected. And of course, they also expect legal costs as well as promotions to inch up and hurt margins moving forward. And we also have a call from Phillip Capital, for that matter, on Nestle, where they also have reduced their price target to around 51.10, and they've also downgraded the stock to sell. And once again, they are looking at regulatory risks as well as sluggish outlook, which could impact the stock. And that's what we have in terms of some more brokerages turning bearish on Nestle.
All right, Agam, thanks so much for that. Well, it's down for the third day in a row, so big losses seen in a span of 3 days. Here's a quick recap of the top buzzing stocks. So we've got Tata Steel, Suzlon Energy, Prestige Estates, Bank of India, Eicher Motors and Nestle.